My name is Kevin Cofield. I'm from the city of Philadelphia. And I first started testing out the entrepreneurial field as a real estate developer in 1997. And it was cool. You know, I had a lot of headaches dealing with tenants, and I really started really following the digital landscape in I think it was the early 90s when eBay got really popular. And then also when MySpace got really popular, I really started, my background was sports. I always ran basketball leagues. And what I started doing was I started painting. It was popular in Philadelphia, where they were actually doing hand painting designs on apparel. So I had this idea where I would do hand painting designs on basketballs. And I started trying to sell them on eBay. And then eventually I was, posting them on MySpace. And then when Facebook came out, I opened me up a Facebook page, and I just wanted to be in that digital space. And it really wasn't working out. And then when Instagram came out in 2010, I said, okay, and that's my space. Because I had my basketball background, and I always used to watch what the players would come in wearing, the different basketball apparel as part of their everyday attire. And Instagram was based off of taking photos, and I would see a lot of the players come in and they would take a photo of what they were wearing before the game, take off, and a lot of the players were wearing Jordan sneakers, and they would take off one pair of Jordan sneakers and then put on another pair to play in the basketball game. But what I noticed was that they weren't taking pictures of the Jordans that they were playing in the basketball game with. They were taking pictures of their attire that they walked to the game with and posted it on their Instagram sites. So I said, okay. And this was around 2012. I said, now I know exactly what I want to do. And being as though my background was basketball, the main focus was basketball apparel. That's how I came up with the name Hoopplex. And that was my first adventure into Hoopplex. And I started off with a website, and I tried to follow the Facebook and Instagram format, where as though they would post pictures and post what they were wearing on the pictures, and the users could like the photos. And my first problem that I ran into after I got my site built was the site went down. And I tried to get in touch with the developers who built the site, and they stopped answering their phones. And the rest was history. My inspiration, what inspired me to build Hoopplex was the lifestyle, was the basketball lifestyle. I've been a big fan of basketball apparel since the age of 10. I really started noticing that basketball apparel was being worn in streets as part of your street attire. And I think it was around 1976 when Julius Erving actually came to the 76ers. And he was wearing a pair of high top leather Converse All-Stars. And all through the streets of Philadelphia, you would see kids, whoever could afford them, because at the time they were affordable. They weren't too affordable, they weren't too affordable. So whoever you saw wearing those as part of their fashion style, they stood out because everybody couldn't afford those high top leather Converses. And that morphed into the Adidas high top All-Stars. And next it went to, and these are all sneakers that I'm gonna give you. This was what really made me fall in love with the basketball lifestyle, basketball fashion lifestyle, which in turn led to me wanting to build Hoopplex. Yeah, well, getting back to what really initially Converse leather high tops was Dr. J, and then that rolled over into around, I think it was 1978, 79, it was the Adidas high top level All-Star. And then that rolled over into 1980 was the Adidas Top 10. And then when the Adidas Top 10 came out, it shut the streets down. You saw any and everybody. I mean, I actually worked the whole summer and saved all my checks, as much as I could to get those Adidas Top 10s. And about 2 years later, that's when the Nike Air Force Ones came out. And these were all marketed as basketball sneakers by the major brands. But in the lifestyle culture, we wore them as part of our fashion style, and also we wore them to play basketball on the courts. We would go home after we finished playing basketball on the court, wash the sneakers off, and if we went to a jam in the park later on that day, you would see us with those same basketball sneakers on that were marketed by the brands Nike and Adidas as basketball performance shoes. But we in our culture wore them as basketball performance shoes and also as a lifestyle apparel. And so I think what I left off, it was the Air Force One, and then around 84, it came out with the Adidas Form. And then around 86, everything changed because Nike came out with the Air Jordan. And when Nike dropped that Air Jordan, I still remember the commercial with Spike Lee and Michael Jordan, the Mars, I think it was the Mars one. I might be getting the name of the commercial wrong, but that changed the landscape in terms of basketball fashion and basketball apparel that's meant for on-the-court activities. You saw those Jordan sneakers everywhere. And Nike really took over the game after that. And that's when I really started getting into basketball fashion on the entrepreneurial side, where I started, selling, if I would get, because Jordan sneakers were so hot at the time that they would sell out right quick, as they are today. Even back then, they would sell out right quick. So you can get a pair of Jordan sneakers and mark the price up and sell them for almost 3 times the price that you paid for them. So if I backtrack a little bit, that's where the entrepreneurial spirit of me me becoming an entrepreneur actually started around 86 and 87. And fast forward up to around 94, 90, maybe 93 and 94 when eBay really kicked off. And I had that entrepreneurial spirit with selling basketball apparel, and now I wanted to move into the tech space. So that's how I combined the two, as far as being an entrepreneurial and also moving into the tech space as far as having my own website or selling stuff on eBay, which I eventually wanted to build my own website. But the primary issue that I ran into with Hoopplex was the website developers, because Hoopplex actually started out in 2012 as a website. And like I said, the first issue that I ran into in terms of maintenance, where the photos actually stopped uploading to the site. And I tried to get in touch with the developers and nobody called me back. And right then, it was like, it took a lot of life out of me. I'm gonna be honest with you, it took a lot of life out of me, because I started going back to, I had to actually start over again. And I started searching for different website developers throughout the city of Philadelphia. And I wasn't really having no luck. I ran into instead of the website developers saying that I really don't understand the concept of Hoopplex, they were trying to change Hoopplex to fit what they thought Hoopplex was. And I was telling them, I ran into this one website developer, and he thought it was me teaching kids how to design sneakers. And I didn't understand how he get it. How did he get, when I was telling him about uploading fashion products to designing sneakers? And that was a lot of the issues that I was going through with trying to build Hoopplex initially.